Good morning, my dearest. Today is the day right after Christmas. And I hope those of you who God provided for you, especially our country, Liberia, when it comes to how Liberians celebrate Christmas on every year. It's a tradition of cooking, killing chicken, and people eating. But this year I have been very much heavy-hearted, not in a position to help people, at least to get food, to buy food on Christmas days, because it's a special day in our country, you know. To all my friends, those who know me, it's not intentional. You know, in the West where we live, there are different time and factors of our lives. There are sometimes it's very good, sometimes it's very rough, sometimes it becomes very hard. I would like to pay tribute to my Auntie Liberian, Ash Thompson. I spent some time with her, living with her at her home, and it was a very rewarding time for me to get exposed to law and what law meant. And after a hard day of working and going through all the storm, we would sit in the evening when I cook her little pepper soup, and then I begin to engage her. I always used to engage her because it was during the time of the ignorant government, and I used to engage her, and we used to argue. I used to engage her respectfully because I wanted to understand practical law from her. So I was always asking her questions, engaging her, giving my viewpoint on some of the issues that she would never agree with me, because she was fond of Amos Sawyer, who heavily depended on her for legal advice. So when you hear me talking about president having legal advice, that's what I meant, because I live around people and during the era of president who had legal advice, you know, to advise them on legal issues, legal matters in the country. So anything you hear me talking, like I said, I know what I'm talking about. It's something that I have interacted with. So what she is today, I just want to thank God for her life and pray God for strength in the Liberian, and that God will be with you. Amen. So that's who have always been a concerned kid growing up, and so which means I was also familiar with the very festive season that Liberians really participated in Ghana when we were on a refugee camp. The refugee camp did not stop us from celebrating Christmas, and when Christmas came in Ghana, Liberian 75% to 80% of the time celebrated Christmas even more than the Ghanaians, because we used to fill all the beaches in Ghana, and the Ghanaians would come and line up along the beach just looking at us. And these people are refugees, but look at them. But it was part of God's grace and our people that were in the States, our family, that supported us on Buduburan refugee camp. And we cannot forget those memories, you know. So as we go through this Christmas this year, we hope and pray. 2025 is a year of prayers and fasting for our country. Because, like I said one time, it is very saddening for us that old man Boakai has inherited all of the spilled milk in our country, including the government that he succeeded, 15-year war. Everybody walking on ahead in the street, not by the will of the young Liberians in our country, but through the war that was perpetrated unknowingly. Because sometimes when something becomes unknowingly, you don't measure the level. Because if it came to a point that people felt like, okay, we needed to move this government, and they brought war. But they failed to realize that when you bring war in a country with 90% illiteracy rating, that I will keep talking, whether people listen to it or not, you will see it. Anything I talk, go beyond what I say. Look what happened with the Boaga administration right now. Go beyond it. Look at the error that was made on Capitol Hill. Today we got two factions. During the war we had 7, but thank God at least Boaga we got 2 factions on Capitol Hill. We were burned, bailing, and people think say we shouldn't come and talk about it. You know, so I just reflecting on this Christmas and what we're facing as a nation during this very special Christmas. Of Christmas that ending the first year of a 80-year-old presidency. And we see the bunch of, because when you're not surrounded by the right people, the wrong and right people, because sometimes the reason I bring the scripture in everything I do is that a lot of us go to church, but I do realize that not everybody go to church for specific reasons, you know. But beyond the church, what is the church? What are the messages that are being preached from the altar to congregation members? How those people sit in the congregation, how are they embracing those messages? Do they understand what in the message for their life? All of these things. I try my little weak way to preach the gospel practical gospel that I preach. Because the things that make us look uncomfortable in front of God, uncomfortable, is the issue of sin and hatred. All of these things. God don't like those things. He hates sin. He hates people who hate one another. He hates war. He hates destruction. God hates all of those things. So, I come out this morning to say that we got a problem. We got serious problem. After the war, 14 years war, Ellen Johnson literally gave up. Like I always say, I'm honest that I'm sorry that she inherited Liberia when she was very old and tired. After all her year of trying to bring what they call democratic order in Liberia. You know, she tried. Exactly what I wonder what she did. She brought people in. She brought educated people in her two terms to help. But she, at the end of the day, she had to pay these people way to go back because it was good versus evil. The educated people came in, but the situation they met, they could not work on a very standardized government because everybody was stealing. And they saw you as a threat to them. They will go after your life, whether spiritually or physically. And she had to pay some of these people to go back to where they came from. Here we are. Then we had 6 years with the indigenous president. And we saw what happened. And Boaga have taken over. Now we see, he am not going anywhere. Look what's going on. Liberia that I know, because of the academic status of our people, you have to be careful who you listen to in our country. Because what the kind of decision, what statement come from Boaga right now, nobody got to tell me that it coming from those around him. Those who messing up his government, messing him up messing themselves up, messing their children or things. Say like that old man is 80 years old. God can call him anytime. So when don't worry yourself, because you must think about yourself. What is about they stealing? Why the country tend to a country of thieves? Why nobody satisfied with anything? Everybody's just greedy, extremely greedy. Nobody satisfied with anything in our country. Why is it like that? Because when the people loses their mind, remember the desert crowd. The Bible got stories that should live with us. And that's why I sometimes try to bring some of this thing. What happened to the desert crowd? God, at one point, God had to get angry and take over. Another point, God had to empower his prophet, Elijah, to go and do some cleaning up for him. God had to do all of those things in order to get his people stable. And that stability that God created is still with us. It's supposed to empower leadership, well-meaningful leadership, to be able to stabilize the country. Oben Boakai, I'm not losing hope. I put my faith in God. But from what I've seen so far, because they're overlooking the error that was made on Capitol Hill by people influencing the wrong decisions. That's why people like minister of states, when a president should supposed to know who he's appointing as minister of state, because you are the immediate friend, close friend of the president, where you're sitting and discuss some deep issues of the country, where the office lack, only you and the president in there. So if you got a level head and you're a person who know God, you and the president supposed to discuss. Ministry of State supposed to go and have meetings and get people consent. I don't see any Democratic president supposed to have a legal team, especially after such a terrible war in our country. Have a legal team that you can advise. But because the president does not have legal team of people who actually qualify to do the job, that's the reason why they mess up. Because when that thing happened on Capitol Hill, it was legal matter. It was legal issues. So the president, what were the legal advisors to the president? What did they advise him? They seek the advice and legal advisors. Look, this is what's happening. It's not good for our country. The Capitol Hill cannot be in trouble, because if the place that were making the law, if that place go in flame, if that place go in flame, what happened to the country? So the first thing should have been, even if the president don't do what the minister of state was, to advise the president to invite lawyers to discuss the issue that had taken place on Capitol Hill. The president got a right to invite even the Chief Justice to the mansion, to his home. So look, this is what's going on. What your advice? But because we got a lot of wrongdoers in our country, they will not take the path as some of the things some of us talking about. That's what should have happened. And if the real lawyer who are going there it was simple. Mr. Kofa, being the speaker and an academic person, he knew the law. He knew that group were going against the law of the country. So he said that if you go by the law, I will move. And they refused to do so. Now that they are divided, the Capitol Hill is burned down. The Capitol building burned down. They have to have meeting in City Hall. If City Hall, something happened that is not, where else they're going to go? Maybe they need to go to the ghettos to be having meeting to take decision for the country. Because the only people who behave like ghetto people are people who change the law of the country and leave hungry children in the street. That people from the ghettos can do those kind of thing. And if you look at them, they look at people from ghetto as far as I know. Because only ghetto people can take ghetto decisions. Like the decision with the law that had caused upon, and people think it's just normal. I saw them trying to like, what is that? What position? What is it that people, everybody, one position where they want for having? What is it? Because the condition of the country. God listening to every word that I say. Why you think God was God? Why you think he had to ordain Jeremiah? I'm not saying I'm the Jeremiah. But maybe I just trying to imitate a little bit of what God did because of my spiritual status, not equal to Jeremiah's, because those days, so God, ready into God, because we got too many things that restricting us. I don't preach gospel to make myself low that I'm champion or the gospel more than other people. I preach it, put myself in line of what I preach against. That we all are sin, have come short of the glory of God. If the scripture says we all have sinned and come short of the glory of God, it means that we need to shut our mouth in certain things and do the right thing. Or when we realize that we need to come and shout at people who are not following the right thing. Supreme Court did that job. Go and do the right thing. Go and follow the law. So did they follow the law? They split? They would not. And the president seemed to be comfortable with that. You can't be, Mr. President, you cannot be comfortable with that. I got a message, my Christmas message for him coming up after this video. It will be coming up. My Christmas and New Year message for the president will be coming up. And they like it, they can take it to be nothing. They don't listen to it. I don't care. But God listens to every word that I say when I come on the screen every day. You got a legal matter. You go, so if even you call the legal advisors and something like that happen, it means that there's no law. That's what my problem is. That's what my problem is. People that torture them, Samuel Doe that we overlook. Samuel Doe, with all his military government, he had legal, at that time they have great lawyers. Samuel Doe had legal advisors used to advise him. You know when the people are saying government using what they call it, military justice, it was different. But when he became civilian government, when Doe became civilian government, he started to use the lawyers, and he was bringing in the best of the best lawyers in the country around him. That's what Samuel Doe did. We got the opportunity there. The American embassy there. That's what the American embassy is for. All over the world. Because the foreign policy goes along with the policy of the United States. And they are our traditional fathers. And they got legal, all the system in around the world, they got it in an embassy. Where if the president jam, he can pick up phone and call the ambassador. I need an advice. Because he's supposed to know the academic standard of those that are working around him if he knows them. Because we see the terrible error they are making. So whether they know what they're doing, only God won't know. Call them. You cannot play with the law of the country. So you see the reason why God burned that building? He said, the building ain't making any sense for the people who are come from other war. So let me just burn it down. They will never find, and I care they can bring what in, they will not find anything. Because you can see the whole thing has to be worse. It started with a pen and bus causing fire. And they left it, it went. All the one that was fire brigade will come, you see a fire brigade truck there looking at it will break down anytime. They can't, when the zero fire came, we saw a water tanker. And they put water pump on it to be able to put, so the fire brigade was not even effective. The fire truck was not even effective. When people dispensing millions of dollars in the pocket with fire truck, all you had to do, ask the fire department to rebuild some of the vehicles they're not using and give it to us. Come to Canada, some of you people once you can come engage the Canadian government and ask them for the used fire truck, then rebuild it and send it for all the one that people be willing to do it. Look at the kind of, we got one fire truck, going. All you done, like, the driver go run traffic, soon the money will relay to collect money because of the poverty rate in the country. So people see other people stealing money, they hear about it. So everybody fighting to steal, even the least people in the market. I went to Liberia. All the places I want to go buy, I park car, all of the children who were standing, all of them try to steal from me. And so most of the time, I won't find them. You used to go against them. Why are you treating a man like that? And sometimes you tell her, I say, have the money. Some of them you come and say, no, Papa, you got don't take care of that money. She's not supposed to do it. I went out country, I saw all of those things. All the babies in the street in that country, all of them learning to sleep because all of them on Facebook, they're hearing everything that's happening. And they're suffering, they hear people stealing the country money. So all of them stealing, they're doing market, even the marketing, what they're doing. They get a chance. Those the children who sell in the street, you get a chance. They'll steal from you because that's what they're learning from their grandpa and grandmas and everything. That's what they're learning from them. You don't know what I'm saying? So I come this morning on the day after Christmas to Lish again. I saw the program at the mansion, how they're looking, how pale they're looking like. They're comfortable. They had a comfortable sending people, children to go kill people. They put them in ambush where they have trained them. That's the same thing that they're doing now. Is there anything that happened in Capitol Hill that's different from what happened in 1990? When people force people's lives out of them, stole people's property by force. They used to inside a DNA in their blood to take people's money, the country money by force. So you expect us to be to sit down easily and let criminals be running the country. You understand what I'm talking about? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I don't know that thing can really frustrate people. The other day I heard about some justification of corruption in Liberia to use it for, help people. How can we encourage people? So what's the meaning of the war and economic crime code? Will it ever be established when corruption be justified? So what will happen? What will happen in the war and economic crime code when those that are supposed to be facing court, they are in government, sitting down in law house? So why won't God burn the Capitol building? Because God knows that if they stay here, it will stay encouraging, so I will burn it. That's what God burned it for. And brought a vision. Because for that fire to blaze up in the top of that roof, it meant something. And you see how God did it? When you are having the chance to come in, they deploy police. Whoa. I will tell you today, where God be my helper, every police officer in our country, maybe Gregory Coleman, they're a little bit afraid because they know him. Every police officer, whenever there's a crime somewhere, when the police officer go in there, they go and look for the person who committed that crime to get bribe from them. They don't go to go solve problem. Say, I say, yo, say, and I'm saying they will all fear and favor because I know what I'm talking about. They go there to go see who committed the crime, to see where they can get money from that person. In the Western world, that most of the people sitting in government work here and they go in government, they go turn everything around. In this world, you got to work to get what you earn. You can't, because when you steal it, they catch you, that your life gone. You'll go live on expired food for food bank. Because before the supermarket gave the food, almost few months or month ahead of it being expired, so they give it to the food bank. And if it stay there, people ain't go for it. It will stay there. It still expired in the food bank, and people still got it. But at least people got food bank to go to find food to eat. The expiration date is for the standard of commercial standard. But actually, it will take the full certain time to actually go other space. But you're not supposed to sell it after this time. But it goes to food bank. See? You know what I'm saying? So I start by this morning. That's that thing we call mess. Remember what else? When you have mess, what the next word? What the opposite? All the when synonyms to mess. It's more than mess. So I expect for me, I don't look for favor. The only person I looking for favor from that from God. And the only thing I say when I say something, somebody can tell me, say, no, that's not true. Why is not true? Tell me it. That's all I want. But as long as you can't tell me that true, I say, also, I'm okay, I will flow. So my new year coming, there'll be new perspective of how we're going to articulate the gospel. Maybe I'll talk enough about Liberia. So I need to focus more on the word of God and see how I can help people. The day I have the opportunity to meet people one-on-one, I will continue to, because my general opposition is against sin and evil. A man who preaches against sin and evil, he will not have a lot of friends. Because if I preach against sin and you're a sinful person, I can't be your friend. If you're an evil person, you can't be my friend. Because you think I'm talking to you. Because I was preaching all about. When Jesus stood up there and said, den of thieves. So I will finally end this broadcast with I think the Luke Gospel of Mark, with the issue of Jesus and the woman that were caught in sin and were taken to Jesus to have that woman stoned to death. All of them surrounded a woman with rock. But why did Jesus did not do physical talking? But Jesus used what he called simulation, to simulate. And although this children toy movie, you see the plane on the children toy movie, that plane coming like, ooh, they know what ordinary plane can do. Somebody displaying and some comet movie that performing, you see a man punching a whole 12-story building down. All those things, what they do is they call simulation, to simulate. They show the action, but it's not the actual act of it. It's just showing a motion of what's happening to simulate. So that's what they call simulation. So what Jesus did was Jesus just spiritually simulated in the case of the woman that were caught in prostitution. Because Jesus always saw ahead of the Pharisees before they even come to approach him. Because he knew that all of the men that brought that woman was all promiscuous men. They were the Muslim, they were the customer of that woman that brought Jesus. So all they knew that they will come to put Jesus to test to see, saying he says he's Jesus. Let's see if he will free this woman that have been caught in prostitution. Let's see what he'll do, what kind of decision, because they're looking for a way to crucify Jesus. But Jesus knew that they were all that woman customers. So Jesus said, well, I'm not going to talk a long time. So when they brought a woman, and brought this woman, according to Moses' law, she's supposed to be stoned to death. All of them holding a rock in her hand. Holding a rock in her hand. One is stoned. So Jesus didn't say anything. They're talking to Jesus, didn't say anything. And I guess them, why is he not talking? Then Jesus already on the ground. So they were concerned. But then later on, the first person said, well, okay, say he not talking to all, not bring the woman to stone the woman. Yeah, maybe he not love to the woman too. So that's why he want listen to us. So let's see what he writing on the ground. So the first one, what went to look what Jesus writing, he just dropped a rock and ran. He didn't tell your friend what he saw or your friend know. But when he dropped a rock, he saw what Jesus writing. When he dropped a rock and ran, the other man said, oh, my man, what made our man what he saw? So let's go look there. So the second man came with a rod, he saw he dropped a rod, he ran. So all of them came one by one, and Jesus was just writing. He was dying, he lived for it, he talked to them. He was dying. And when he lifted his head, all of them disappeared. The rocks lying on all water women, all around. Then Jesus said to her, even though the king to condemn you, but never ever will I condemn you. But my daughter, the only thing I advise you, when you see them, me, I just added my own there. When you see them, come back to come short time. Keep pepper water in your house. Flash it in their faces. That's, I just want to extend what I thought that Jesus meant. Whatever you're writing it and they ran away. I didn't know what the Bible didn't tell or what Jesus wrote. But the Bible told us that they ran away whoever because they came one by one. And Jesus fed them with their attitude, their evil, their wickedness. I guess you are saying, oh, but you want her customer. Bro, the driver, how he got to know? Because the question that caused them to drop the rock and run away was, how did he know? The Bible didn't give an account. So that's why when you know the Bible story, you're able to, what they call exegese, to the way called biblical exegesis. So what Jesus was doing, even though it's not written in the Bible, what caused them to run? But you as a theologian that you know what the Bible is, what you think Jesus did, you can assume what Jesus did because your proof will be that they dropped the rod and ran away. Something made them to run. So there was something that Jesus was writing because he knew that every one of those idiots that were coming, he was writing something about them. Oh, but you wanted them. You wanted her customer. Maybe that's what Jesus wrote because something made them to run. So in the preacher's mind, he got to figure out who Jesus was and the reason why Jesus rescued her from those men. There was something that Jesus knew about them. And they thought Jesus didn't know. And the same reason why they tried to kill him. Because when he appeared, they saw him as someone who had come to change the messages that they were preaching to the people. That made them to put that head, that arm and power over the people. Jesus came simply saying that everything they were doing, that Jesus knew that there wasn't any love in it. Because when love is absent in people or attitude, it either bring war or it either bring their government down or bring the country down. That's why leaders should be godlike and take decision that was so, because every contemporary leader, after war leader, is supposed to understand the status of the kids, the children who fought the war and have been left undone. So Jesus concluded by writing on the ground. He didn't talk. You see, some people, you see, fathers. Our father, the real woman, the late George Abraham Parker, he always flogged us with his eye. When we're doing something, he will not say anything. He will just look at you. And then you will decide, oh, am I doing the right thing? You leave it and run. Those people knew the Bible. So that's why he's using on us. He never told them when he pick out right, when he finally pick out writing, you must stand because they're not small walking, he'll walk you. But when he look at us, you will check yourself. You will watching TV and you know you watch your part. He will just come and call your name and look at you. And you'll get up from in front of the TV, you go check to see whether your part clean or you not do your work. Because the rule was your work must be finished before you can watch TV. And that's small black and white TV. So this is how the wisdom that he had. And the same wisdom that Jesus used in that matter with a woman that was caught in prostitution. That the same, her customers had brought her to Jesus to come set Jesus up. But they didn't realize that when people are very intransigent and not willing to learn, they set themselves up before even knowing. So if somebody, our president or a legal issue come in the country, if I became a president as a class 8 lawyer, it means that I knew the law before becoming president. But if you're a president, you're not a lawyer. You are agriculturist. You did know how to plan. You're agriculturist. So when you become president, you have to hire well seasoned lawyers to be your legal advisors. So that when legal issue come, decision you want to take in the country, you want to know what the decision is in line with the country, with the constitution of the country. Because you wanted to know that the country got law and wanted to understand every aspect of the law. So if this thing had already brought a split in the House of Representatives that's will be making laws, it brought a split already. So if the issue came to you for you to make decision before making comment, you go and review the law. If your minister of state knew what he was doing, he the one should have said, Mr. President, can we call in a team of lawyers to discuss the thing before you speak on it? That's what minister of state for. But all of them go to Yakbawolo to get a job. So when they get a job, they are very disabled. And the leader also become disabled. Like after Christmas, summer, year, the morning. So I just want to thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Mama, for helping me this morning. I wish, may us share this video because it's very important right after Christmas. And half of it strictly to the president. I heard about another controversy on Small TV last night, but I want to listen to what he said before I can comment on that. Because I'm kind of in a deadlock or spoon last night concerning supporting corruption or what his statement meant. I hear it, but I pray to God I will find it and listen to it and hear what he say about this something. Because if what he said in line with anything other the way, then he may be heading for trouble. Yeah. And if you're not careful, I don't wish him. We all wanted him. But the reason why we wanted Boakai was not a good reason. The reason why failure taking place now, as I conclude. Because we were against George Weah, and we didn't want George Weah in, but every means that we just voted what it was, and that's what the main issue of voting. It was not done from a clean heart that, okay, some of you, because we say here, okay, people say, oh, you're being honest, maybe honest, but you're being honest and quiet, man. Everywhere back, where nobody, even the people that work in the ministry, you forget that he there. And I said, they say, that was all talk. I went 5 years, read by agriculture ministry when you're there. So I know what I'm talking about. I know what the people usually come from the ministry to can't talk. In Liberia, they say rum shop bench. All the news from Liberia on rum shop. They play where they can drink liquor. All the news in Liberia. So all the top people, because those usually come to those shops. So I knew everything about the government. They're talking, I can't sleeping behind the counter, but I listen to everything I recall. Because when people drinking liquor, they play talking calm. Talking calm on liquor table. So that's it. Talking calm on liquor table. So I just come to tell you the morning. So I know some of you people don't want to, because the people who have been connected over my lifetime, I know everything about the country in the palm of my hand. So may God bless us and bless the president. Hope that he uses his wisdom wisely to maintain his presidency and help our country. Other than that, let us keep praying. 2025 being declared as a prayer for the country. Because from what I see, Liberia is shaking. Because a country that wasted blood for all of its lifetime and terror 15-year war, and they refuse to cleanse that country and go to God in unison and cleanse that country, you're wasting your time. You wasted just a matter of time for things to go hatter, stagger, and chakla, because we fail to recognize God in the God's given country. Praise the Lord. God bless you. Have a blessed day and happy New Year. Mama, you're here for me. Bye.